Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Arun, consultant gastroenterologist, hepatologist, and interventional endoscopist from Apollo Main Hospitals, Greens Road, Chennai. Today, I have been given a very tough topic and also one of the most interesting topic right now. Frequently in India, we have been dealing with this disease, what is called as IBD. It is nothing but inflammatory bowel disease. Why I have chosen this topic for discussion today is because, as we all know, that World IBD Day is going to be on this month in 19th. So May 19th, we are going to have a World IBD Day. Why this IBD is so important? What is this inflammatory bowel disease stands for? If you're going to look, see, before taking the discussion, I'll be briefly discussing about the various anatomical landmarks, what you are supposed to remember when you're going to discuss about this inflammatory bowel disease. This inflammatory bowel disease has been categorized in two major broad entities, what is called as ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. So what is this IBD? So if you're going to have any ulcers which is going to happen in your intestine, any inflammation, if it is going to set up in your intestine, which will predispose to this inflammatory bowel disease to develop. So what is this ulceration? It can happen anywhere in your gut. It can happen in your large bowel or it can happen in your small bowel based upon your disease location. What is the categorization of disease you're going to present upon? So if you're going to take your GI system, so it starts from your oral cavity, from where you're going to take your food. From there, the food is going to enter into your food pipe. And from there, it is going to enter into your stomach. And from there, it is going to enter into your small bowel. In small bowel, it is going to get divided into three major components, what is called as duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. And from there, it will be going into large bowel. And from there, it will be going into the anal canal. That's the final pathway, what we are going to happen if you're going to have an entire GI system. Why I'm discussing this? Because if you're looking for Crohn's disease, for example, I'm telling you, it can affect any part of your gastrointestinal system, right from your mouth and up to your anal canal. It can affect any part of your gastrointestinal system. So what is this ulcerative colitis stands for? Predominantly, these ulcers will be happening in your large intestine. That is what this ulcerative colitis stands for. See, what is the reason why the patient been developing this kind of inflammatory bowel disease, and what is the age predilection factor? So who are the patients been having high risk for this kind of presentation to develop? For to discuss about that, so if you're going to look into this IBD, the incidence right now will be more common in male. Also, sometimes equal proportion will be in male and females also being case reports of being there. Apart from that, if you're going to look for IBD, it can happen in any age predilection. It can happen in infants, it can happen in children, it can happen in a middle-age group, and it can happen in an elderly population also. Nowadays, even from 20 years up to 60 to 70 years, there are biennial distribution pattern of this kind of inflammatory bowel disease to set in. It can present with multiple modalities of presentation, like it can take a milder form, it can take a moderate severity, or it can go for very severe presentation, or sometimes it can land up in fulminant presentation. Fulminant means which may land up in very, very dangerous presentation also. So why I'm saying this, see, what is the main pathophysiology? What is the reason for the patients to develop this kind of ulcers which is happening in your bowel? So as of now, the clear-cut cause throughout the world has not been established, because if you're going to look into this disease pattern, which has been initially been more common in the Western countries, but now India is also been suffering with this kind of diseases a lot. This kind of disease presentation, right from children to older patients, this kind of disease presentation have been frequently reported. As of now, the data which has been collected from 2010 to 14, what they may mention, almost around 1.4 to 1.6 million population in India has been affected with this kind of inflammatory bowel disease presentation. Among them, ulcerative colitis is slightly in the higher lead rather than Crohn's disease. But why I'm discussing all the disease entities will be having a own course of presentation, will be having its own chronicity. So you need to manage, we need to tackle all this presentation effectively to overcome these kind of complications. So what is this inflammatory bowel disease which is going to happen once a patient? What is the pathophysiological concept? See, It is mainly because if your gut perturbation, gut disturbances, what is going to happen? It can be mainly by your immune system, which is going to get altered. If you're going to see your T cells, then you're going to look about your immune system. So your own immune system is going to function against you. That is one predicting factor always you need to remember. And now the new concept, like what is called gut dysbiosis. What is this gut dysbiosis? So you are having some normal bacteria in your gut, or you're having, once it's normal comes it's normal bacteria, what is happening in your gut, if it is going to get disturbed by some precipitating factors. Suppose we are going to take a diet from outside, if you're going to have a unhealthy food, unhygienic food, if you're having any precipitating factor, so many other so these kind of things will worsen your good bacterial commensal, and which will make your bad bacteria, a harmful bacteria, to proliferate in your gut. This kind of presentation also can lead you to inflammatory bowel disease. And also you should remember, because of gut dysbiosis, immunological factors, and sometimes because of your genetic alteration, if your father or mother, if you're going to have this kind of presentation, if you're having any genetic abnormalities, you may land up with this kind of inflammatory bowel disease like presentation. So always you should remember the clear-cut etiology. The clear-cut etiological trigger has not been identified so far. The clear-cut etiological concept has not been determined so far throughout the world for this inflammatory bowel disease. And most of the time, it is because of the various conceptual thoughts, various hypothetical concepts being determined to progress this inflammatory bowel disease. And one more hypothesis, which is very, very important to discuss, nothing but hygiene hypothesis, which has been initially been taken. What is this hygiene hypothesis? See, right now, right from our childhood and from to our older age population, we are going to have a clear hygienic food level. So once you are going to have a clean habits, if your food, everything, if you're going to have a clean habit, what is going to happen? Your natural immune system will not have a harmful bacteria. So your gut will be having only a clear normal commensal. Once your immune system is going to function against your normal commensal, what is going to happen? It will make you to proliferate with this harmful bacteria, which will predispose to gut dysbiosis. Gut dysbiosis, once it develops, it may land up with this kind of inflammatory bowel disease like presentation. So this is how the pathophysiological concepts have been determined. And what are the common clinical features? So most of the patients who are visiting me in Apollo, they'll be asking me, what is the common precipitating factor? Why I am affecting with this kind of diseases? They'll be frequently having this kind of thing. So what are the common things? What are the common clinical feature you should remember? It can affect in any age group, any pediatric, any right now, right from childhood to older age population. This kind of presentation can happen. And next to that, the most common symptoms, always you should remember, if you're having a bloody diarrhea, in GI tract, the symptomatology is very, very simple. Always you should remember a bloody diarrhea, blood and mucus and diarrhea, blood and mucus diarrhea. And apart from that, if you're going to have any abdominal pain, which may be having any upper abdominal or lower abdominal or diffuse abdominal or central abdominal, so it can be in anywhere. And apart from that, if you're going to have a significant weight loss, suppose if you're having around 50 to 60 kg prior to the presentation, and following the onset of presentation, if your disease, if your weight is going to come down significantly without any alteration of diet pattern or without any much of physical activity or exercise, if you're going to have a significant weight loss, that itself is a contributory factor for you to decide that the patient may land up with inflammatory bowel disease. And apart from that, you may develop fever, you may develop extra intestinal manifestation. See, this inflammatory bowel disease, it's a wide area, it's a multiple area of involvement. Don't think that if you are going to have an inflammatory bowel disease, it will be affecting only your gastrointestinal tract. It can affect any organ system, right from head to foot. Any organ system can be affected because of your inflammatory bowel disease. So it can affect your eyes, which will predispose to reddening of your eyes, can like conjunctivitis, iritis, and other complications can develop. It can predispose to multiple recurrent non-healing mouth ulcers can develop. You may have a significant joint pain. Multiple areas of joints will be involved, and you may have a significant back pain. And if you're having, sometimes some patients randomly can land up with jaundice, which is one of the significant yellowish yellowish discoloration of eyes, which is nothing but one of the significant liver complication that may also be developed as a component of this inflammatory bowel disease. So once you have this kind of presentation, a multitude of involvement, always you should consult the gastroenterologist properly in the right time to tackle this kind of complications effectively. So apart from that, this is how the clinical feature will be presenting. You may have blood and mucus, diarrhea, pain, and sometimes rashes, weight loss, all these things, the bloatedness of your abdomen. You may have nausea, vomiting, in which area it is going to be predominantly involved. If you're going to look into this ulcerative colitis, as has been discussed, will be involving your large bowel, so blood and mucus diarrhea frequently reported. And if you're going to look into your Crohn's disease, it may affect your small bowel, which is also a very lengthy segment, can be involved at any point of time. If the small bowel is going to involve, there may be high possibility for you to land up with weight loss, and you may have evidence of obstructive symptoms, and you may have evidence of vomiting or other symptoms also. And this kind of presentation can also supervene if you are going to have inflammatory bowel disease in a wide range. So how are you going to diagnose this kind of presentation by a gastroenterologist? See, once we are going to examine you based upon your clinical presentation, based upon your age of presentation, based upon your risk factors, all these things we'll be ascertaining you, and based upon that, we are going to label you in which category of inflammatory bowel disease you are going to be in the presentation. So we'll be doing you a basic endoscopy. We may do either upper GI endoscopy, in which we are going to put a tube into your oral cavity. From there, we'll be looking at your stomach up to your proximal small bowel, or else we may do a lower GI endoscopy, nothing but colonoscopy, in which we are going to put a tube into your anal canal. From there, we are going to see the entire length of large bowel. So in between the segment, there are more, a complex area of small bowel is still presenting. If you have any suspicion of Crohn's disease, if you couldn't able to identify this kind of presentations, if you couldn't able to identify where the lesion locates, if you couldn't able to see the ulcers in anywhere, sometimes we may go for a complete small bowel study, either by capsule endoscopy, or we may go for a enteroscopy, in which most of the investigations will be well available in very high-yielding centers in India. And if you're going to look into China, like Apollo, will be having all those stuffs will be available. And once the patient is going to land up with this kind of inflammatory bowel disease, based upon your clinical presentation and based upon your baseline blood investigations and your baseline, and your upper GI, lower GI endoscopy, if it is needed as per your clinical presentation. With that, we'll be diagnosing your IBD. Once your IBD being diagnosed, how will you going to manage? See, most of the patients will be questioning me, so how long you're going to treat me for this inflammatory bowel disease? So most of the time, I will be telling you, you should be psychologically stable. First thing, and the treatment duration will be for a prolonged course. Sometimes even up to lifetime, you need to go for the treatment. And moreover, you need to be in complete surveillance with a gastroenterologist, and whatever the common medications, whatever the over-the-counter medications, whatever the prescription you're going to be prescribed by other doctor without the advice of your gastroenterologist, you're not supposed to go with all those medications. So you need to, what is the treatment protocol? We need to choose your diet. Your diet should be well balanced in an equal proportion of carbohydrate, fat, and proteins. You should not take plenty of carbohydrates. You should not take plenty of fats. High fat, high carbohydrate diet may worsen this kind of presentation. If you're going to eat plenty of fried foods, junk foods, if you're going to eat unhygienic foods, you may land up with worsening of diarrhea. You may land up with flares. Flares means sometimes you're being diagnosed, initial presentation of IBD, and you're being given some medications. You will be completely healed off, and you're not going to be in any treatment. You're going on your work with routine. So what is going to happen? After that, if you're going to have any unhygienic food and source food of consumption, you may have some bacterial infections which may proliferate in your gut, followed by you may land up with this kind of worsening of presentation, or a relapse, even a flare of even can happen. So always I would like to discuss that once you've been landing up with this kind of presentation. So consult a gastroenterologist. Without his advice, never go for any medication. So apart from that, control your diabetes effectively, control your hypertension, don't go for very high salt diet. And as I discussed with you, high carbohydrate, high fat diet has to be reduced, and you can consume a reasonable fiber diet in the form of green vegetables and fruits, in which way you are going to consume, and avoid highly sweetened foods. You should not recommend, and depends upon your disease location. Suppose if you're having Crohn's disease in which we are going to have small bowel involvement, don't eat any more of seedy fruits and don't go for any more of skinny fruits. All those things has to be reduced if you're having any small bowel pathology. So your diet pattern, frequent small meal, all those things has to be consumed. Your nutrition status has to be well maintained with proper surveillance and follow-up. Apart from that, if you're going to have this inflammatory bowel disease based upon your severity, we may give a chain of multiple medications are being available in the field of gastro. So in which we may prescribe you a steroid, we may go for a monoclonal antibiotic, we may go for sulfasalazine. So much of molecules are being available to treat this inflammatory bowel disease. So based upon your clinical presentation, we'll be deciding the treatment protocol. And once the treatment protocol being established, how long you're going to take the treatment, how far, those and all based upon your clinical findings, we'll be deciding accordingly. And what are all the special situations once you have been decided for the treatment? I will be discussing. Suppose if you are going to be a pregnant, this kind of scenario can worsen your clinical presentation of IBD. Always your pregnancy should, but it's not much of harm for you to be pregnant. You can become pregnant, but after consulting the gastroenterologist, after having an adequate control of your disease progression, your pregnancy can be continued at any point of time. Right now, India has been completely rampant with this coronavirus like symptoms. If you're going for coronavirus vaccination, and most of the patients are being asking me, can we go for the vaccination if the patient is on this kind of medication? So as of now, there is no clear-cut guidelines available, but some certain papers what I've mentioned. So vaccinations is not much of harm in stopping that. Even if the patient is going to have inflammatory bowel disease, you can go for the vaccination protocol as per guideline. So coronavirus and other vaccinations can be continued. And how to manage, as I discussed, you need to tackle your diet, control your inflammation, have good nutritious diet, and screen yourself. Sometimes there may be a surgical indications also. So what are the various indications for you to go for surgery? It's purely a medical gastroenterologist has to manage this condition, but some surgical indications in case if you're going to develop a serious complications like any perforation, nothing but if you're going to develop any hole in your intestinal cavity. If the patient is going to present with any evidence of perforation, which is one of the life-threatening complications, or if you are going to have uncontrolled severe bleeding, or if the patient is having severe refractory to medical treatment. Even you're putting with multiple drugs, the cost of the medications is very high, huge mental burden, and the psychological stimulation, and you'll be having frequent toileting. All those things, the psychological support has to be done. Your funding, your financial status has to be adequate if all these things to be tackled. That is why in India, to tackle this inflammatory bowel disease still remains a complex issue because the patient needs treatment for a longer duration of time. And that's why the counseling is most important. And sometimes we may need to seek the support of other consultants also, like rheumatologists help may be needed, ophthalmologist help may be needed, all those things to be tackled effectively. It is a multidimensional approach to tackle this complication. And once you diagnose with inflammatory bowel disease, you need to do a regular surveillance, you need to do a family screening also. This inflammatory bowel disease sometimes rarely can land up in dreadful colorectal cancer also. So you need to diagnose whether you're being landing up with this kind of presentation. You may go for surgery at any point of time based upon your gastroenterologist's opinion. So if you want to tackle your inflammatory bowel disease, which is being determined as ulceration in your bowel, so how to tackle this? Diet pattern, control your hypertension, control your diabetes, control your thyroid-related problems, do good physical activity, eat good nutritious diet, have regular physical exercising, and don't put too much of overweight, and don't take any over-the-counter medications without consultant's advice, and try to screen yourself early, even if you land up with minimal complications. With this, you can halt the major disease burden. You can control this disease progression for this inflammatory bowel disease to land up in dreadful colorectal carcinoma, and you may prevent this disease to go for a severe presentation. You may halt the disease with a milder variant. And what is the recent theme in 2021 World IBD Day? They will discuss control, break the silence. You need to harm if the patient is going to have any alarming symptoms, recognize the clinical presentation, discuss with your gastroenterologist, and control the events as early as possible. With this, I would like to rest my presentation and feel free to communicate with me regarding this at any point of time. Thanking you all for patient listening. Good day for you.